Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. Hello. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Childcare Bawse University. I wanted to take some time to just thank you guys for saying yes to yourselves on creating a childcare center like no other in your area, in your zip code. I don't take it lightly when women decide to show up for themselves with the Childcare Bawse University and with myself, Dr. Cortesha Cowan. I wanted to start by just giving you a little breakdown of who I am before we get into week number 1. The first week of our 6-week challenge and our 6-week knowledge together. I am Dr. Cortesha Cowan, the founder and CEO of the Childcare Bawse University. I'm also known as the Childcare Boss. I've been in the industry over 26 years. I started out as a teacher. I worked my way into assistant administrator, and then owning my own childcare center in the year of 2005 in my house, and then moving it into a facility in 2007, where I continued to be a childcare owner until 2020 when COVID hit. I closed it down, sold everything, and moved with my husband and my kids and our grandbabies to Atlanta, Georgia, where I now help and serve other women like yourselves in opening up a childcare center. So this is going to be a unique 6 weeks. I want to, one, thank you for still taking the time for me to coach you and teach you on what it is to be a childcare owner. I am sorry that it had to be pre-recorded. My father was placed on hospice. I lost my mom 2 years ago in June of 2022 to COVID, pneumonia, and lung cancer. And my father is now fighting that nasty disease. He was diagnosed in November, and a few weeks ago, as the person that oversees all of his information, his health, and all of that, we had to make the decision to move him into inpatient hospice at a hospital. So I'm not sure what this next couple weeks will look like, and I wanted to still be able to show up for the women that did take time to purchase my products or services. I will be extending a 30-minute to 1 hour. If it goes over, it goes over. 1 hour cap with you individually to hear what your needs are, because that's what we would have did on our 6-week live class. So again, thank you so much for still saying yes to this 6-week program. You will have a lot of information. I'm also going to be sending you a worksheet / notes that goes with each week. So this week we are talking about how to be a childcare owner. So let's get started. Again, please make this time to sit down and really dissect what it is that I'm going to be talking to you about. I want to teach you everything I know about the childcare industry. And because you bought this packet, I am your childcare coach. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us. Email us so that we can get back to you as soon as possible. The email is on this flyer if you would like to take a picture. Also, you should have been receiving emails from the bossbuilders@gmail.com. We also have info@thechildcarebawseuniversity.com if you want to email us at either one of those. And at the end of this, I will also put it in email when they send you this pre-recording. So let's get started on what the week 1 is. And I can see right now they forgot to put week 1 on welcome to week 1. So just we're going to keep on going. We know it's week 1. It's in the blue. So sorry for that error right there on the red. I like to point out because we are just as human as you. And so I always point out our mistakes. And so that is a mistake on our slideshow, but we're going to keep it moving. So how to become a childcare owner. Everyone wants to open childcare centers and everybody wants to be involved with childcare, but do you really know what it takes to be a childcare owner? That is what we're going to dive into today. So in this week moduling, you will learn what it truly takes to be a childcare owner, whether you're a seasonal professional or whether you're just getting started with the passion of wanting to be an entrepreneur in the childcare industry. I'm going to teach you what that looks like. It is one thing to open a childcare center, as I said today on my TikTok, but it's another thing to actually show up for yourselves as a childcare owner. taking on the role and responsibility. Sometimes a child care owner has to jump in the classroom. So if you're not going to be the administrator, which my first 10 years in this business, I hired someone. Why? Because I'm also the founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization that helps homeless teenage mothers. That's called Mothers Helping Mothers. I was a teenage mother and I know what that feels like. So I opened that, and that's my first love. I love childcare. I love supporting it. I love bringing it together. But Mothers Helping Mothers is what I was, which was a teen mom. So I want to give them to the ability to show up for themselves. So my first 10 years in this industry, I opened the Child Care Center. My background, just a little bit, I opened the Child Care Center because I was getting my medical degree at a college in Columbus, Ohio. And the women started dropping like flies, y'all, on being able to graduate, and I found out it was because of childcare. It clicked something on right then and there. And I was already in childcare before because I moved to Columbus, Ohio from Lima, Ohio, and I went into the childcare industry at the age of 20 because I wanted my kids to be with me. I didn't know anybody in Columbus. I didn't want anybody just watching my kids, so I went into the Child Care Center as a infant teacher, and that's where the love of childcare truly came. If my mom was to tell you, rest her soul, she said I was a child care person all the time, because I'm either having somebody else's babies before I was even a teenage mom, or when I became a teenage mom, I was taking in other people's kids and just letting them spend the night at my house. So she said I always had that role. They called me Tisha Mom as a kid, so I guess I just was always a nurturer, right? So that is why I stepped into the childcare role. But my goal and my background was to be a medical assistant. It was to be in the medical industry. In my teenage life, I was also a STNA, so I loved these fields. And so I combined them by creating a childcare center that also had a small little clinic, as you would call it, that birthed into all of the other stuff that I do as far as my nonprofit. So my nonprofit came along, and I was like, these girls need childcare. They need a place to take their kids. They need a place to put their babies. And so I started a childcare center in my house for the girls that were in my Mothers Helping Mothers program. And then that flourished into owning my own childcare center, stepping outside of the box, closing the one in my house and transferring it into a building. And then the sky is the limit from there. God just opened up so many doors, and I was able to not only help other women open up childcare centers. Even before I was charging, I was helping women open their own childcare centers. But I saw the love of teaching others how to do this. And 3 years ago, I birthed the Childcare Bawse, where I just decided to help women, and then I moved it into the Childcare Bawse University as you know it today. So in this module, I am teaching you what I learned. I am teaching you the good, the bad, and the ugly of being the owner, but also understanding when you open this childcare center, you got to be able to play every role, okay? So let's get into the childcare owner. What the childcare owner is. We're going to explore the rules. We're going to explore the role. We're going to explore what marketing research look like. We're going to explore how to pivot and make your business plan. We're going to explore, like I said, the rules and regulations, how to secure funding, whether you do or you don't. For me, I had a unique situation. I always tell people I have favor over finances. I always usually just go into a building, and it's something about me and looking for buildings that have not been used in so long, and then going to the owner and talking them into allowing me about 5 months to turn their building into a business, right? So find that distraught building and turn it into a business is what my motto is and what I live by. Why? Because if you can get a owner to let you take over their building with like a 2-year lease, but give you 5 months to get it going, I can show you and teach you how to flip that building within 90 days and be a child care center, and then be able to only think about the staff, right? And even with that, I've never secured any true funding. I have a blueprint and a technique that I use to teach you how to get the staff that you need, with making sure that you can fund them within the next 90 days, because you have to get open. And then once you get open, that's when it takes about 30 to 60 days to get your first payment, if you're going to go the state route, where the state pays you for low-income families to come into your childcare center. You can have both. You can have private pay and the state funding, and I'm going to teach you that as well. The networking and seeking mentorship. You started with the Childcare Bawse University. I have the Childcare Bawse jersey on today. I can teach you and show you how to enroll into my mentorship program as well, where I give you tools and tips on a monthly basis, where I meet with you monthly individually for about 30 minutes to just talk you and walk you through what's going on in your childcare. So that is what we're diving into today. Yes, I actually made these pictures myself, so I am not just a childcare consultant or coach that teaches you how to do the childcare center, but because I knew I was working with limited funds when I started, I learned how to use different systems to create my own flyers, to create my own content. All of that I taught myself. So you're coming into a coach that can show you how to make your own logos or make a few for you, that can show you how to put your content together. So each one of these slides you see the Childcare Bawse on the flyers is because I learned how to make my own using AI. So I would love to be able to teach you those things as well. I have so many different programs inside the Childcare Bawse University. You will not fail with us. I will promise you that. If you give me the time and you give me your energy, you will not fail with us. You will not fail. Whether we have to back up and start in a house and then move you into a center, you will not fail with us. Okay? You will not fail with us if you listen to the blueprint. You will not fail with us. All right. So let's get started. So some of the things that you need to know about exploring the childcare ownership. What is the challenges of being an owner and an operator of a childcare center? What are the skills? What are the leadership skills and the communication skills and the business skills that you need? I did not know anything about childcare other than being a childcare teacher because, like I said, I moved from a small town to a big city. I didn't know anybody, so I went into the childcare role. So sometimes you want to jump straight into childcare, and sometimes you need to know what that looks like first. So how you do that is by learning the childcare role. So the good thing about the childcare industry now is each state has what they call a professional website where you go and you download it, or you log in and create a login. So for example, Ohio has Okra, Georgia has Bright from the Start, and you log in, you create your profile, and then they have free classes that you can take on a consistent basis and get what we call points or credits. Those points or credits add up to your level of experience in childcare. I also teach you that. I show you how to go to your local site in your state and create what we call the childcare portfolio. So you start with just all your personal information. You upload your high school diploma, your GED, whatever it is that you have. If you have background in nursing, whatever you have, you upload all of that, and then it gives you levels. Based off those levels, it'll tell you if you can be the childcare owner and administrator, or if you could just be the childcare owner, because anyone can be a childcare owner that passes the background check. But to be the administrator, there's certain rules and regulations that you have to have, and we will break that down next week. But today, I just want you to understand what it is to be a childcare owner, right? So you have to know what the leadership role is. You have to also be able to be a listener and not just someone that spit out what somebody does. The reason why I call our childcare organization, the Childcare Bawse University, BAWSE instead of BOSS, is because everybody wants to be a boss, BOSS, where you think that you just bark orders. But BAWSE is teaching you how to build. It's teaching you how to activate. It's teaching you how to know your wisdom that God has given you. And then he teaches you how to serve. You have to serve your children. You have to serve your staff. You have to serve your community, and you have to serve your family, right? So all of those things are teaching you to be a leader. But then you have to learn how to execute. You have to take all of this information that I'm giving you, and you have to execute it. You have to be able to know what that looks like when it's time to execute. You can't just be a childcare owner and not know how to execute. So the reason why I have the Childcare Bawse University spelled the way it's spelled, ladies, is because everybody wants to be a boss, BOWBOSS. Everybody wants to be that boss. They like to bark orders. And yes, there's nothing wrong with using that boss because some people have their own acronyms on why they choose that boss. I'm just telling you that we chose BAWSE because we want to build. We want to activate. We want to have wisdom. We want to serve and we want to execute. You have to know how to serve as a childcare owner. You have to know how to serve at the community. You have to know how to serve your staff. You have to know how to serve the parents. You have to know how to serve the children. And you have to know how to serve your family. And the only way to do that is understanding what servitude is. Another thing is executing. All this information that I give you, if you don't create your own strategy and your own exit and then your own way of exploding it out, it won't work for you. So you have to also learn how to execute to build this thing. So that's where my mentorship come in at. I teach you how to activate yourself as a childcare owner. You cannot just be the owner of a childcare center. You have to also know the roles. Some days you might need to be the teacher. Some days you're the janitor. Some days you're the mentor of the staff. Some days you're a shoulder to cry on for a parent. You have to know your role in this industry. So this is why this 6-week course is so important. And this is why I always start with how to be the childcare owner. It's a reason for it, okay? It's a reason for it. And in that, that's how you create your mission. What is the mission behind why you're doing this? What is it that is making you want to be a childcare owner in the first place? That's what we're here to learn today. That's what we're here to learn today. Okay, number 2 is researching. Does your area need you as a child care owner in a home, or does the research shows do the research show you need to be a child care owner in a home, or does the research show you need to be a child care center? You have to look at your target market. You have to know. Everybody wants to jump into a building, but as I told you before, I was in a house and then a building. I started in a building, but there's some pain points there at a later date I will tell you. But I ended up just going into my home, and I had a more successful learning how to do it and navigate it in a house first, and then moved into a center. So when you do this market research, you need to know, what is your area looking for? Are they looking for childcare centers? Or are they looking for more home providers? And those are questions you can also ask licensing when you're deciding which role you want to do, right? Which role you want to take. You will learn with licensing as well. Okay? Number 3, conducting a business plan. How to write your mission in your business plan goes hand in hand. What you do in that business plan also helps you activate how to make your mission work for you. So you have to outline your mission statement, your services, your marketing, your financial projection, all those things we're going to go through. I did on my on the next week when we talk about it in more detail. I did give you a layout of what that looks like. So it digs more into a business plan. You have to learn that as well. You're going to learn your rules and regulations of that state. What does the health department say? What does fire say? What does occupancy say? One thing I would tell you, if you do your house versus a building, you're only going to deal with fire, you're going to deal with health, and you're going to deal with licensing. You don't have to do fire. You don't have to do zoning or occupancy. The zoning and occupancy is if you take over a commercial house or if you could do a commercial building. Again, sources for funding. I have a couple sources that I give that's not guaranteed, but I can tell you other ways. But I also can tell you there's a lot of grants on the table once you are actually operating. It's not a lot of grants on the table to get you started, but it's grants on the table once you're operating, okay? And then finding your niche within that source of resources or funding. You got to find your niche as well, so that they will be able to say, you know what, I want to fund her because she's going above and beyond what all the other childcare centers in her industry is doing. So you also have to think about that when you want to secure funding. And then again, we're talked about the marketing strategy a little bit on number 2. That's finding out the plans of your families, how to attract your families, what they're looking for, what awareness you can bring to your area. Again, that goes back to your niche. What is your niche for the childcare industry for you to be able to give that out and to display it in a marketing standpoint? What does that look like in a marketing standpoint, right? And then again, the networking and mentorship. Get into networking groups on Facebook, in networking groups on LinkedIn to find out other professionals. Again, I have a mentorship program that we will talk about at a later date where you can become a childcare boss. You can receive the varsity jacket like the one I'm wearing. You can receive the Childcare Bawse chain. There's certain levels to it. But again, I do have a mentorship program. I'm relaunching it the summer of 2025. Right now, I'm just letting it flow. These last 2 years, I just want to get through, being there for my dad and being there for my family. And then next year, I'm going to launch it in the spring. I'm going to relaunch some new things that's going to come along with what I'm already doing. If God says so, then I can relaunch in fall of 2024. But right now, some of those things I'm bringing into the mentorship program, I'm looking for it to be next year. But again, how to become a childcare owner is what we're talking about and what we're working on today. How to get stakeholders to be a part of what you're doing. How to get other organizations and professionals to be a part of what you are trying to bring to your community is the most important part of this, okay? Again, what we dissected in this week is learning how to be there for yourselves, learning how to be a childcare owner, right? You should understand that the solid understanding of the steps involved in being a childcare owner is 1, you showing up for yourself. 2, you learning how to build this thing out, which is why you're a boss, BAWSE. 3, you're learning how to activate the information that you have inside of you that you want to display into the childcare center as a childcare owner. And then wisdom. Let's go a little deeper into wisdom. Wisdom is getting the understanding that you need to be a childcare owner and to execute a childcare center in your area. And that wisdom comes from talking to God and understanding what it is that he wants you to do first. And then using someone like me as a childcare coach or a childcare consultant that can help you identify the wisdom and the knowledge you need to be a childcare owner. And then also serving. I talk about serving a lot because I served my way to success. The reason why I talk about serving a lot is because I served my way to success. And everything that I do, it starts with serving. I have served my way to success, ladies, because I understand biblically what that means. I understand kingdom, what that means. And so becoming a childcare owner, that word serve inside boss, that S is the thing that stands out the most, because we can build, we can activate, we go to God for wisdom, we go to coaches and consultants for wisdom, but that serving, you have to have a spirit of serving. You have to know it's not about the title that you're going to carry as the owner. It's not about the title you're going to carry as the administrator. It's about how can you serve the people that are going to be a part of your center, from your staff to your community to the families to the parents to the children, okay? To even licensing, what they're saying do. Always tell people, I had a sign hanging up in my center. What would Jesus do? I had a sign hanging up that said, what would licensing do? So you have to learn those rules as well. And then, of course, E is for executing. Getting that thing together and executing it out is going to be pivotal. It's going to be an amazing thing to do, but it's also going to be to understand your why. Can you really execute in darkness? Can you really execute when things are not going your way? Can you still execute this thing when funding is falling through? Can you still execute this thing? We talked about my stories earlier and some of the things that I had to go through to get to this point, but I still learned how to have execution. I still learned how to pivot into the things that made me want to stop. And that's what you got to learn. So I hope in this first segment, this first week of learning how to be a childcare owner, you are taking away some major pointers from me that is going to make you understand if this is even what you're supposed to be doing. You might have got here and was like, you know what, this ain't even what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm glad that I was able to show up in week 1 because now I know the heart that it's going to take me to be an owner. And it's going to come with learning, understanding, and executing. learning, understanding, and executing. And the only way to know that is to know if this is really what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? What you're really supposed to be doing. That's what this is about. Nobody else can tell you what to do. Only you know if this is the biggest responsibility you want to take on. As I said right here in the red, as a daycare provider, you have a big responsibility to keep the children in your care safe. The best way to do that is by putting the safety things in place at the beginning of this. That means the staff you bring on is like family, whether they're not blood family, but they're people who you've interviewed, who you know can take on this mission and this vision with you. Your staff is going to be an important part of the decision making that you are about to take on. And you have to understand that the only way this can work is if they understand your mission and your vision. That's the only way this is going to work, ladies. You can't just say you want to do a child care center and that's it. You got to even do stuff like this. You probably can't see it because I got that, but you got to know how to draw it out. So even right now, take a piece of paper and just draw it out. Draw what you see your child care center being. Draw out where you want your office. Draw out where you want your restrooms. Draw it out so then when you go to look for it, it matches your vision, right? Because we always say write the vision and make it plain. So what I tell people to do is draw out your vision for your center. Whether it's in your house right now, you want to draw out which room you want to use. Whether it's in a building, if you draw it out, then as you seek the facilities, they will match your vision. And sometimes you have to just tweak it a little bit to match your vision. But start with a vision. Start with what you see your center looking like. I tell people to go to Discount School Supplies because they allow you to make an account and then you can map out what stuff you want to put in the infant room, then erase it. What stuff you want to put in the toddler room, then erase it. Like after you make the list, you'll know the amount of money, you'll know what it'll look like, and they let you print out the little pretty picture. Make the vision of this child care center match what you are looking for, not what anybody else is looking for. The takeaway should be my staff has to match my mission and my vision because they will make or break the center. Okay? They will make or break the center. So you have to ask yourself, what does my staff look like? What does my building look like? What does my program look like? All of that entails in becoming a business owner. That's why I started with becoming a business owner for my 6 weeks. The very first thing we go through is how to become a business owner. So every time we get on this 30-minute webinar, that is what we're going to be dissecting. This 6 weeks is 1, what does it take to be a business owner? 2, what is my mission, vision, and business plan structure? Okay? That's what we're going to be doing. Okay? So I pray that you got something out of this first 30-minute webinar. I will be releasing the form that goes with it. If you have any questions, please contact me. Please let me know how I can support you and help you in this endeavor. You can text me at 470-222-5694. Again, 470-222-5694. And you will get me personally, okay? Or you can email the Childcare Bawse University staff and support team. I pray that this bless you. Understand that it's not an easy road, but it's a blessed road to be able to serve children and families in your community. It's not an easy road, but it's a blessed road to serve the children and families of your community. And I pray that everything that you are trying to do comes to pass fast. Godspeed. God bless you, and I'll see you guys next week.